What secrets hide behind the doors of Old Man Eckert's house? Who vanished into the night, leaving only footprints that led nowhere? Are you brave enough to uncover the mystery that has haunted Marion for years? Join Classic Storytime Hub for At Old Man Eckert's by Ambrose Bierce, a classic story reimagined in English.
Before we dive in, subscribe for your daily stories. Now, let's go. Philip Eckert had lived for decades in a weather-beaten wooden house set alone about 3 miles from the sleepy Vermont town of Marion. Those who remember him, if they are still around, speak of him with a curious blend of respect and unease, as though recalling a man who was always just out of reach, even in memory. Everyone called him Old Man Eckert. He kept to himself, rarely venturing beyond the boundaries of his small, struggling farm. He never shared the story of his life, or whether he had family at all, and yet he had a way of walking through the world unnoticed, untouched by gossip, and immune to the relentless curiosity that usually clings to solitary men. No one in Marion whispered of pirates or assassins, of a past as dark or exotic as legends might suggest. He simply tended his crops, kept his doors closed, and let the seasons pass. Then, one morning, he vanished. No warning, no hint, no farewell. A frantic search by neighbors turned up nothing, not a clue, not a trace. It was as if he had stepped outside for water and simply melted into the air. For weeks, Marion buzzed with speculation. Every visitor to the village heard the tale, the mysterious disappearance of Old Man Eckert, the recluse whose past remained a locked chest, whose presence was now only a ghostly absence. The house stood empty, silent, and stubbornly defiant of time. When I last heard of it, 20 years later, it still lingered there, a weather-stained sentinel to a mystery that no one in Marion dared solve. Over the years, Old Man Eckert's house gained a reputation that went far beyond idle gossip. It was said to be haunted. Flickering lights danced behind shuttered windows, strange, mournful sounds echoed through the halls, and shadowy figures seemed to appear and vanish without warning. 5 years after Eckert's disappearance, these rumors had grown so persistent, and in some cases so oddly convincing, that a trio of Marion's most respected citizens decided to investigate for themselves. John Holcomb, the town's apothecary, Wilson Merle, a well-regarded lawyer, and Andrus C. Palmer, the local schoolteacher, were the men chosen for this peculiar vigil. They planned to meet at Holcomb's house at 8 o'clock one cold winter evening, and together make the short journey to the abandoned Eckert homestead. There, a fire had been prepared, provisions laid, and everything arranged to endure whatever the night might bring. Palmer, however, never showed. After waiting 30 tense minutes, Holcomb and Merle proceeded alone. They entered the dim, silent house, seating themselves before the glowing hearth. The flickering firelight cast long, quivering shadows across the walls, and the only sound was the occasional creak of the old wooden floor. They spoke little, the agreed plan being to remain quiet, their minds heavy with thoughts of Palmer's unexplained absence, which now seemed even more unsettling in the silence of the old house. An hour, or perhaps longer, for time seemed to bend in that cold, shadowed room, passed without incident. Then, faintly at first, came the sound of a door creaking open in the back of the house, followed by footsteps in the adjoining room. Holcomb and Merle rose instinctively, hearts pounding, yet rooted in place, bracing themselves for whatever was about to unfold. The silence stretched, heavy and almost unbearable. And then, the door swung open.
a figure stepped into the flickering firelight. It was Palmer, pale, so pale that he seemed almost drained of life itself. He moved as if in a trance. He did not greet them, nor even glance in their direction. Instead, he walked slowly across the room, the dying fire casting long, shivering shadows across his motionless form, and without a word, he stepped through the front door into the darkness. Instinctively, both men thought he had succumbed to fright. Some ghastly sight or sound in the back room had stunned him. Without hesitation, they chased after him into the black night. And then, he was gone. No one ever saw Andres Palmer again. By morning, the mystery became chillingly clear. Fresh snow had fallen during their vigil, several inches deep, and the tracks were unmistakable. Palmer's path from his lodgings to the back door of the Eckert house ended abruptly there. Beyond the front door, nothing remained, save the footprints of Holcomb and Merle, who swore he had walked ahead of them. Palmer's disappearance was as complete and inexplicable as Old Man Eckert's, prompting the local paper's editor to wryly suggest that Eckert himself might have reached out and pulled him in.
And thus the story ended. If you liked this journey into the worlds of classic literature, do not forget to support us by subscribing so we can tell you more. And hey, if there's a classic tale you'd love to hear told in this suspenseful style, drop its name in the comments below. Your suggestion might be our next chilling adventure.